Have you ever watched a love begin like a wildfire? Instant, fierce, certain, and wondered why it later fizzled like damp kindling. Or been told, I love you, only to feel that what they love is ... not exactly you. Carl Jung, the great explorer of the inner world, gives us a startlingly simple map. People fall in love for two fundamental reasons. Not 10, not dozens. 2. Once you can see those two reasons, you'll start to recognize patterns in every romance, every crush, every heartbreak. This video is not about blaming anyone. It's about clarity, about learning to spot the difference between a love that grows from truth and a love that grows from an inner need projected onto another person. To understand these reasons, we have to borrow a little of Jung's language. He taught that our psyche is layered. The persona, the mask we wear in public, and deeper still, archetypal images, the anima or animus, the mother, the hero, the shadow. We bring all of that into relationship whether we know it or not. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. In love, much of the unconscious becomes visible through who we choose, how we idealize, and what we ask of another person. The two reasons he indirectly describes. One is surface. The other is symbolic. The first reason is familiar. People fall in love because you match what they see they need. You are attractive to them in clear, practical ways. You're funny, dependable, beautiful, ambitious, warm. You check boxers. Shared values, shared humor, similar life pace. You make life easier, brighter, safer. Think of someone who grew up with chaos and then meets a person who is patient, orderly, and calm. That calmness, that grounded presence, feels like rescue. For the anxious child inside them, it's safety. That S, the persona doing its work. You present a social self that answers a tangible problem in another person's life. This love is practical and stable when both partners keep meeting each other's visible needs. It builds over time through shared rituals, honest conversations, and consistent behavior. It's the kind of love many people quietly prize. Steady, dependable, nourishing. But even stable love begins with something visible. A match between two patterns. Habits, tastes, life, goals. When those patterns align, attraction becomes partnership. Imagine Anna. She grew up feeling unheard. She meets Mark, who always listens, remembers small details, and shows up. Anna feels seen, and she falls. The love grows because his behavior matches the echo of her childhood longing. It's real. It is often enough for lifelong partnership. If both continue to show up, the second reason is deeper, darker, and more intoxicating. Jung noticed that we often love a person because we project an inner image onto them. We do not fall in love with the whole, messy person. We fall in love with the image we carry inside. The mother, the savior, the unfulfilled dream, the inner child longing for repair. Projection is when someone sees in you something they desperately need in themselves. Validation, forgiveness, adventure, or even good, old-fashioned rescue. They ascribe a role to you and then fall for that role. The result feels faded. It is often immediate, heated, and impossible to ignore. But projection is a two-edged sword. It can powerfully connect to people, and it can also set up impossible expectations. When the real person fails to be the myth, disappointment can erupt into anger, blame, or withdrawal. Think of Jonah, who lost his father early. He meets Claire, who laughs like his dad used to laugh, and who smells, somehow, like home. Jonah feels a visceral rush. She gets me. But he's not only feeling for Claire, he's feeling for a lost father, for childhood safety. His love is entangled with grief and longing. Claire, as a living person, can't always wear that part of his past. So how do you tell if a love is reason 1 or reason 2? Watch the pattern. Speed and intensity, Projection often arrives like a thunderclap. Instant idealization, sweeping statements, "You're perfect." Surface matches more often feel steady and incremental. The nature of requests. If someone continually asks you to fulfill a role, be their rock. Be their mother. Never leave. That's projection leaning heavy. If their requests are practical and mutual, plan dates, split chores, that's a surface match. Reaction to flaws. With projection, the first real flaw collapses the image. With a surface match, flaws are negotiated and integrated into daily life. What they love about you. Do they praise your behavior and choices? Or do they praise your symbolic value? You remind me of. The latter hints at projection. Projection is not inherently wrong. It's often a call to notice what we need to heal. Jung believed that the things we project can guide our individuation, our path to wholeness. If someone projects a mother figure onto you, it might mean they need to tend to unresolved inner wounds. If you can recognize that, it becomes a doorway to growth. But projection can also be dangerous. It can lead to emotional enmeshment, dependency, and a tendency to use partners as therapists or saviors. When the myth shatters, and it will, the person who falls out of love often behaves as if the lover personally betrayed them, when in truth, their own unconscious expectation collapsed. What do you do if you suspect projection in yourself or in someone else? 1. Name it. Awareness shifts power. If you feel overwhelmingly idealized by someone, gently ask, "What do I remind you of?" The question opens conversation without accusation. 2. Hold boundaries. Don't accept a role you didn't choose. If a partner wants you to be their savior, decline that unpaid labor. Offer empathy, not martyrdom. 3. Invite curiosity. When you notice intense idealization, ask about the person's history, their childhood, their losses, their unmet longings. It's not confrontation. It's gentle excavation. 4. Do inner work. Jungian individuation, therapy, journaling, dream work, or reflective practices reduces unconscious projection. The more integrated we become, the less we hand others impossible scripts to perform. 5. Test the love. Watch how it behaves in ordinary life. Does it hold up when bills arrive? When mood drops? When boredom sets in? Surface matches survive because of partnership work. Projections survive if both people willingly evolve the image into a shared reality. The healthiest relationships often combine both reasons. You meet each other's needs, that practical grounding base, while also consciously engaging with the deeper images that drew you together. Projection becomes an opportunity for mutual healing rather than a trap. Imagine two people who bring steadiness and also encourage each other's inner growth. Who say, "I see how you light my hero, and I will not let that hero carry the whole burden." That's the marriage of persona and projection. Practical love powered by conscious transformation. So here's the simple, useful truth Jung gives us. People fall in love for 2 reasons. Because you solve a visible need, or because you become the image that answers an invisible one. Both can be beautiful. Both can be perilous. Your job, as a lover and as a human being, is to be as conscious as possible about which is at play. When you know that, you can choose differently. Who you let into your life, how you respond when someone idealizes you, and when to do the inner work that frees both you and the people you love. If you want, I can make the next video a practical guide on how to spot projection early and what specific questions to ask before you fall deeper. Comment project below if you want that. If this shifted the way you look at love, subscribe to PsycheLogos for more Jungian maps of the heart. There are entire worlds inside us waiting to be seen. And when we see them, love stops being a mystery and starts becoming a practice. Until next time, keep watching the invisible.